An Idaho Republican representative named Christy Perry made some comments about the issue of faith healing that should spark outrage and condemnation, although I doubt it will. So there's a proposed ban on faith healing in Idaho because a bunch of preventable deaths happened. And to be clear, deaths of kids. So children are dying because of their parents' goofy beliefs. And they're trying to stop this, or some lawmakers are trying to stop this, but this representative, Christy Perry's against stopping this, so she responded by saying the bill, quote, violates the religious rights of her constituents. The rights of her constituents to, of course, kill their kids if they so choose. She said, quote, they have a clear understanding of what the role of government should be, talking about her constituents, and it isn't how to tell me how to live my life. Children do die. I'm not trying to sound callous. Well, you failed. But reformers want to act as if death is an anomaly. Let's pause here. You sick son of a bitch. Death in a child is an anomaly. They're not supposed to die at that age from the causes that they're dying of. The only reason they're dying is because they're not getting adequate medical attention because their parents refuse to get it to them. So it is an anomaly. You talk about, like, what do you mean? It's totally natural. Your belief should allow your kids to die. You should hold them back from doctors, obviously. She says, but it's not. Death is not an anomaly. It's a way of life. Death is a way of life. Yes, and dark is a form of light, up is a form of down, left is a form of right. You want to play this game of anti-tautologies all day long? Let's do it all day long. She says, as you move out west, we tend to be much more independent people, and Idaho is a lot like that. Followers of Christ, which is the specific religious group which is killing their kids by trying to faith heal, do not look to the government to help them at all. They're very self-sufficient and know how to take care of themselves. Pause again. Apparently you don't, because your fucking kids are dying. We know how to take care of ourselves and kill our kids. Well, that's not taking care of yourselves. That's killing your goddamn kids because of your ignorance. She says, in Canyon County, people hunt to feed their families, they fish, and they grow their own food. They are comforted by the fact that they know their child is in heaven. If I want to let my child be with God, why is that wrong? Again, pause and think about the implications of that. Imagine we implemented a policy right in line with that comment. If I want to let my kids be with God, why is that wrong? You just made an argument that could apply to legalizing murder of your kids. Hey, I brought them into this world. If I want my kid to be with God and I believe in God, then it's fine. So any religious parent who sincerely believes should have the right to murder their kid. That's what logically follows from the comment that you just made. Whether or not you want to acknowledge it is irrelevant. It's called a logical deduction. So you just said it, man. You just said it. If I want to let my child be with God, why is that wrong? So by that logic, you can just kill your kid in any way you want. Put a bullet in their head, throw them off a fucking cliff, whatever the fuck you want to do. Hey, I have a right to let my kid be with God. Why is that wrong? It's wrong for obvious reasons because it's murder or it's manslaughter or it's gross negligent homicide. I mean, look at what you're asking. She says, is it really because these children are dying more so than other children, or is this really about an attack on religion that you don't agree with? No, it's about the dying kids, dipshit. It's about the dying kids. You know how we know it's about the dying kids? Because the government's not coming into your house and saying, hey, you're not allowed to pray. Stop it. I don't agree with religion, therefore I don't want you to pray. Okay, that would be a case of the situation being about religion and not being about protecting the kids. But they're not telling you you have to stop praying. They're not telling you you have to stop being religious. They're not telling you need to leave your church. They're not telling you need to do fucking anything except not let your kids die when they're sick. Look at how backwards. I mean, this is a debate that we're having in the year 2015. We have evidence. We know that children in this particular group, followers of Christ in Idaho, the kids are dying because the parents are imposing their beliefs on their kids. forcing them, sorry, we're not going to give you medical care because we don't believe in it. And then the kids are dying. And then they're arguing, well, we have a right to let the kids die because religion, because it's our religious beliefs. Again, by that logic, you can hide behind religious beliefs for anything you want ever. So I'm pro-murder. Look, some people do sacrifice of lambs and animals, and we believe in human sacrifice in my religion. Now, if the government steps in and tells me I'm not allowed to do human sacrifice, they are infringing upon my religious rights. No, wrong. We don't live in a theocracy. You don't get to opt out of all secular laws because you just throw the veil of religion, the blanket of religion over the conversation. Because that means you can get away with anything as long as you invoke religion. We don't live in a theocracy. We don't live in Saudi Arabia. We don't live in the Christian version of Saudi Arabia. We don't live in your crazy, mythical, superstitious, garbage world. We live in a world of science. We live in a world of democracy. We live in a world of rule of law. And you're not allowed to just let your kids die because you have beliefs that are not based on fact. If you want to say, I don't want medicine for myself because it's my beliefs, well, then that's fine. You're an adult and you can make that decision. But when they're a kid, you're imposing your beliefs on them. They're not making that decision for themselves. Of course they're not making that decision for themselves. So for you to impose your beliefs on them, you're in the wrong and you're committing manslaughter at the very least. So spare me your garbage, man. Is this really the world that we live in now, where as long as you invoke the magic word religion, you could just get away with anything you want? And look, it is the case that it's true. In Idaho, they have a religious exemption. If you try to faith heal your kid and your kid dies, you get off from saying, no, I was part of the loophole on this. The loophole is you're allowed, for religious reasons, to not give them medical care. So I didn't give them medical care. So I didn't do anything wrong, even though they died. So there's a loophole that allows for killing kids in the name of religion. That right there, this story right here is enough to show you exactly why true dogmatic religious beliefs are beyond dangerous, perhaps the most dangerous thing in the world.